Bark, bark, woof, woof, happy puppy here. Alrighty, now this is gonna be a bit of a video. So I went to Midwest Furfest in Rosemont 2024, and I have to say that was so much fun. That was a lot of fun. I'm sad it's over, but I also have to go back to work, and I don't know what else to say. I don't have my notes from Thursday, so I'm just completely ignoring that because it was from Thursday the 5th to December 8th. Again, the 5th, I have no notes because I don't have the notes. I never took any. But I do have Fridays. So I'm just going to go ahead and read off the Friday notes. Now, there is time in between from me doing stuff, but that I'll address as it kind of comes up. So, first note, Friday. It's a welcome bag of mixed people of all sorts, sizes, and ages. A lot of younger people and not as many people in full-on fursuits as I thought there would be, but it is warm indoors and it is indoors and those things are warm. There was a lot of people packed when I went to go get my badge. It was already long and snaking. It was already a long snaking line. To give you an idea, there was probably about 150, at least 150 people ahead of me when I first got what I thought was in line. Turns out I was, at the midpoint. No, sorry, probably a little bit less than 150. I would say easily 100. Easily 100. But it went around a convention center. That was just a line for register. Just to go get your badge. Not even the fact that if the thing was long. That's what I'm trying to say is. Now, once we got to the garage area, it was easy to see there were so many people. And this line, for as many people as they were, the line was actually moving kind of quick. They were smart enough to do it in chunks, so that way no one station would be overwhelmed. It was a pretty even split of people at each station, registration station. When I left there were still people funneling in. Like, it was nuts. Like, I've never seen, I don't want to say I've never seen that many people, but no one was really that quote-unquote rowdy while waiting in line. Everybody was still pretty well chill. It was really nice. Oh, excuse me. It's fighting back. Dinner's fighting back. Let's see. Now, the dealer's den, which is like their their vendor and merch area, was one of the most popular points. Now, I saw this as I was getting in. There was already people waiting to get into the merchandise area, and it wasn't even open yet. But it was big. It was getting to the point where people were, the staff and the volunteers were just shooing people away from the door, saying, "Hey, it's not open." You needed to get a specialized ticket that would give you time to get in. But beyond that, I think it was around that point I actually got to go to the opening ceremony. Now, the opening ceremony was huge. There was a lot of people there. There was a just ungodly amount of, positive energy. I really don't know how else to describe it. But the air was buzzing, people were nice, everything was going on. There was no real problems that you would normally see kind of semi-happening. If it was happening, it was quickly dealt with enough, or quickly Yeah, quickly, fast. No, it was dealt fast with. Wow, I can't speak. But point being, though, it was handled fairly quickly. So you didn't really see any issues per se. But then again, as I said, this community, I have never felt more welcomed. I have never felt more at home, we'll say, than among these people. Which says something. But my notes from the opening ceremony, it started off with, once it actually started kicking off, the lights dimmed down like you would kind of expect. And then people in raccoon fursuits came out and started going through the skit. The skit was pretty cute. Essentially, it was planning the quote-unquote heist, which was this year's theme, and that was to steal a raccoon idol of some sort. It's supposed to bring prosperity, money, and better trash, I think, as they said it. I didn't know this, but Midwest Furfest also does a big charity thing every year. Where every year they do it, they always select charities. And this year the charity was called the Street Dog Coalition. Essentially, they help keep people and animals united in hard times. So if someone who's like on the verge of homelessness, they might be able to step in and help in some way. Or if there's someone who happens to, I'm trying to think how they actually explained it. Essentially, their main goal is just to keep people and their pets together. And it's a real lovely thing. Now, at one point, they brought on this corgi on this stage, and his name is Tugs. And there was a collective, aww, from myself included, of course, because I like dogs, I don't like anything cute. Just look at the channel, for example. Okay, tanks can't exactly be cute, but still, you get my point. Once Tugs was brought on stage, and you could see, they had a screen on either side of the stage too, so you could actually see what was going on, no matter where you were sitting, for the most part. They did even thank, now eventually near the end of the ceremony, they'd said thanks to their closed captioning people, who were also doing it live, and the next thing you know, you see on the screen, it was like closed captioning. It's like your captions guy, thank you. Or it's like, you're welcome, something along those lines. But they mentioned an interesting number. They had done over, I want to say 1,000 people or 11,000 people. I don't really remember which one, and my notes aren't exactly clear on it, but they did a lot of people over Thursday and Friday. And that was by the time I hit the door. So going back to it, I gotta find my place back up on Friday. Give me a moment, guys. Enjoy pictures. Lots of pictures. So at this point, also, wasn't too long after the opening ceremony, I decided to interview people. I didn't ask any real personal questions. This was very broad and very general questions. So I'm going to play some of those.
There it is.
Happy Puppy here at Midwest Furfest.
That's Happy Puppy.
I'm staying out of frame on this one. I want to show people off.
I am also a happy puppy. Well, I'm an angry puppy.
I got a list of questions over here if you want to answer any of them. Otherwise, just go ahead and chat.
My character name is Scritch, but my screen name is Monster Collie. Skritch. A lot of people spell it with the C. Whatever. Mine is with a K. What is my favorite thing? Myself! I don't know. It's hard to pick a favorite thing. I'm just going to move on from that. What is your favorite place? I don't know. I'm kind of in flux. I'm trying to find a good place for me. Because home can be a bit stifling.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in Ohio right now. That is not my favorite place. I'm from Texas. That is not my favorite place. Trying to get maybe to Seattle or maybe somewhere near the Canada border on this side of the continent. By this side, I mean Ohio, maybe Michigan or New York or Pennsylvania or something. Favorite hobby? I like drumming. I'm trying to rediscover the fun in drawing that I used to have. And some video games, I like Stepmania, which is like DDR on the computer, and you can play other rhythm games simulated on them and download the same files and play whatever song you want. It's fun. You just do it on the keyboard, you can practice.
I generally never thought of that.
And you can like slow it down and then put the hand claps on there so it can help with the rhythm and other things. It's great. Stepmania. I play the one called Outfox. It's on Steam. And that is my dealer's dinner tap in the morning with SpongeBob.
Nice.
Some song by, I forget if it's Kendrick or something. Preferred soft drink. I don't usually drink pop. Call it Coke back in Texas, no matter what brand it is. But I'm in the Midwest now, so we call it pop. Dr. Pepper, I guess, because I went to Baylor, and for all its flaws, for all its many flaws, it's sort of trying to pretend to keep up with the times, as much as religious donors will allow it to. Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is from Waco. I've been to the Dr. Pepper Museum several times, so that's my default. What is the thing I'm most excited for? Being here, YOLO, Big Con. It's 1 month before Trump. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm most excited for my personal growth that actually lets me enjoy life again. Because fuck, man, I've been in depression for a while, psychosis for a while. I've been fighting this shit off for 7-8 years, and I'm finally coming out of it. Any tips for those attending or planning to attend? Be prepared. Think of what you might want or need. Take it with you. I got my bag, my fanny pack, my shopping bag. I made this in kindergarten. Show them.
Oh, that is awesome! Generally, that is awesome. Look at the microphone out of the way. That is awesome!
Timmy T. It's my human name.
Oh.
Drink of choice, usually water, sometimes Gatorade, a little bit of coffee sometimes, and like Mio Energy.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to shoot it in my mouth, but I do it with I put a little bit of water in there before I shoot it in the mouth, and then I drink a little water afterwards. So
You're
it's
not the
just,
only one that's done that.
it's not just straight down the throat, but yeah. My ex-boyfriend, we still live together, we still love each other, but he hates when I do that. And it might have bad effects on your health, but
Everything that does nowadays. So.
yeah. Best way to travel. God, whatever's the most convenient for you. Don't fly on a Boeing plane.
Yeah, you're liable to fall out of the sky on that one.
And if you are on a Boeing plane, just pray to whatever God or hope to science, theism, nothing. We came on car because we're close enough. It was 6-7 hours. That's it.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
Where's this gonna be?
This is going to be at mostly my... Alrighty, well, Happy Puppy here, back with another interview with these lovely people. Go ahead and pick a question, or just supply your own answers. Or our own questions.
You asked me the questions, I can't do that.
Oh, okay. What's your character name?
Sue Holly.
Polish?
Yeah.
Hey, awesome. Favorite things?
Drain Gang.
Yes,
Yes, okay.
I like acorn.
Actually, legitimately, they do taste quite good. I've made pancakes out of them. I wish I was joking, but no, I've made pancakes out of them. You can make batter using acorns. What's your guys' favorite hobbies?
Why?
DE does too.
You eat dust?
No, DE does too, the Counter-Strike.
Oh, I thought you said you
Oh,
ate dust.
God, it's been forever since I played that. No wonder why I didn't recognize that.
I like Half-Life.
Smart person. Very smart person.
I like Half-Life.
How's the heist going for you two so far?
What?
I've stolen at least 17 fursuits. They're all in my hotel.
Yeah, we're perceived thieves. We're professional.
Yeah.
We're gonna run it up on y'all.
Yeah, we're
gonna
running it up.
run that shit up on y'all. Y'all about to get blicky.
Bro, tight shit.
Y'all about to get blicky for real. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. I got shooters. I got shooters out in O Block. You are all fucked. Like, I'm phoning them grave.
Yo, what is he saying? What is he saying, bro?
Type shit.
Alrighty.
Don't play with me. I be trapping. I be running out of Atlanta like Young Thug before YSL got the conviction on me.
Yo, skinniest jeans. Baggiest jeans in Atlanta.
Baggiest jeans in Atlanta right here.
Drink of choice: coffee, tea, other.
Lean.
Lean? Okay.
What was the question?
Drink of choice.
Lean.
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 I've actually been on a what the hell is it? Cherry lime kick recently.
That's
so,
crazy.
Type shit.
That's crazy, bro.
best way for you guys to travel.
Horseback, for sure. I be riding up on my ops on horseback. I let them know I'm coming.
So you know when like you're a kid and your dad is like you're in the pool and like your dad pretends to be a boat? That's my favorite way of
That's what's
travel.
up. That's what's up.
That is awesome.
That's what's up.
That is very awesome. Let's see. What are you most excited for this next coming days?
I don't know,
Getting
bro. It's
fucked
like my
up.
third day out here.
Partying.
I don't know.
Hey, no worries.
I don't.
All right. Any tips?
Absolutely. Yeah, just 1 second. Yes.
Anything? Let's see. Any tips for attending? Right.
No tips. I'm an idiot. All right. Who wanted the picture? You. My brother.
Alrighty. You guys have yourselves a very lovely afternoon. Alrighty, Happy Puppy here. You want to pick a question or do you just want me to start asking?
I can't read.
That's quite alright. Don't worry, I can't either. What the hell did I write? What's your character's name?
My name is Awesome.
Awesome. Okay, then what's your favorite thing so far?
My favorite thing, water has been really good.
Hey, I don't blame you. As long as it's not like in the middle of a frozen lake, you're fine.
Spots alive, please try to sit to the right side. Stay on the way to spots alive.
Alrighty. In that case, what's your favorite place so far?
So far, my favorite place has been just like the opening platform. Seeing all the other birds and all the other
yeah.
shoots has been like such an amazing opportunity to see like everybody else's creativity.
Alrighty, what's your favorite hobby?
Favorite hobby? Oh, my favorite hobby is candle making. I actually love making candles.
Oh, I've never tried that, but I've wanted to. I've seen
super fun.
so many videos for it. Let's see, how's the heist going for you guys so far?
How's high school? I have a lot of trinkets. Been finding a lot of stickers. That's been fun. So just a lot of trinkets. So it's going great.
Alrighty. Are you comfortable with more questions, or do you want to stop?
I think my friends are trying to get to another
Hey,
panel, so I'm gonna
No
have to
worries.
consider being
Hey, no,
short.
thank you so much. Have yourself a very lovely afternoon. Yes, I do. Alrighty, Happy Puppy here with another interview. What's your character's name?
His name is Corvax.
Nice. What's your favorite thing?
How so?
For example, is it like a shiny trinket, or is it like an entire person who happens to be your favorite?
It's an entire my fiance.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your favorite place?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because I've been to a lot of places that I really enjoy. I gotta say, I went to Iceland a couple of years ago. That was probably my favorite place I've been.
Amazing. Favorite hobby?
Oh, man, that's another hard one because I have two that are near and dear to my heart, which is archery and blacksmithing.
What was it?
Archery and blacksmithing.
Oh, I used to do archery, so I understand that one. I can't handle heat, so blacksmithing's out for me.
Yeah.
What's your preferred soft drink?
Believe it or not, sparkling water.
I could see that.
I gave up soda about like 8 months ago and just changed
You need to
it
find a
sparkling
replacement.
water.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Any tips for those who planning to attend?
Well, I mean, this is my first NFF, and I'm already confused. So try and get your bearings beforehand, I guess.
Believe me, I've wandered around in a circle for like a half hour. Leave me alone. Let's see. Best way to travel you found so far?
There's a couple of different ways, but I think the best way that I've found is flying, but booking like 6 to 8 months in advance. Because then you get lower prices, guaranteed boarding, all this good stuff.
Yeah. Are you comfortable with more questions, or you want to call it there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alrighty. Let's see. What are you most excited for?
Honestly, we're already doing it. Just hanging with my friends and finally doing the fursuit. This is my first time with my boys.
Oh,
so.
that's awesome. Because it looks fantastic. I have yet to even figure out how to do that sort of thing. So, let's see. Soft drink. Best with travel. How's the heist going for you?
Well, I'm not really big on stealing because I don't like the idea of being in prison. So.
Alrighty, I think that was actually all my questions. Yeah. Thank you so much for interviewing.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yep.
Okay, good. So you saw some of the interviews. I don't really know how well my equipment was working because of the fact that I've never used that style of microphone before. And initially, I wanted to get a brand new video camera, or a brand new camera, plug the microphone directly into that. It was probably going to end up running me around, let's see, including the stand, probably around $200 to $300. To get a decent camera would have been like $150, and like I'm talking like a decent Sony camera. I wasn't gonna do like, the knockoff camcorder for like $100 when it would have been not exactly subpar, but it wouldn't have taken good pictures or good video for that matter. And I kind of want to still buy a good camera like that because that only can help me in all of it. And all this, but anyway, so I don't really know if the interview questions or the interviewees, I don't know how well they were heard, but still I was able to get the chance to talk to people, and that was just fantastic. A lot of them had so much personality to them. I ended up stopping by, they had an arcade area, and there was, I'm trying to remember some of the machines. There was a couple, I think 3 Japanese machines. One used basically like drumsticks. The other was almost like a cubed Tetris. I don't really quite know how to describe it. I didn't get any real pictures up from the arcade because it was so freaking dark. And then there was another one where it was, you had to touch the sides and it was a circle. I wish you guys could have seen it, or some of you might have already seen that kind of machine. All the games were free to play. You didn't pay, you didn't pay anything. If I have any pictures of there or any video from there, I will put it in the video. If not, I kind of got to move on. Now, one of the games I played was called Metal Slug. Now, at this point, I headed to something called Utter Chaos. Now, as much as I appreciate the pun, at that point, I regretted bringing my 40 ounces of coffee and a giant tumbler because it was becoming a pain to lug around. Now, I love that tumbler, don't get me wrong. That thing's great for when I go to work, but I don't think it's a good idea to bring it to conventions. It's a giant Buc-ee's thing. If I remember to, I'll take a picture and throw that in there. If not, 40-ounce tumbler, that's all you really need to know. I didn't really want to throw it in my messenger bag because this thing does leak. It doesn't seal quite as tight as it should. But as I sat down and kind of started vibing a little bit with the general crowd, I will say this. They played video game music live with a fantastic small little, I don't want to say a full-on orchestra, but they had brass, they had strings, they had a keyboard, they had a drummer, they had, what you would normally need. And they were able to do it in so many different styles. But a lot of it was jazz. Like, good jazz, too. These people knew how to play. The first one they did was Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. I don't remember the name of the song, or I just didn't write it down, one of the two. But then the one they did next was Pokemon Sun and Moon, followed by I know they said the name, but I didn't get the chance to write it down. But they did Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Life lights. And the entire time, you could hear their talent. You could, they loved doing what they were doing. It came through with so much passion. I wouldn't know if they made mistakes, but if they did, I didn't notice. They played that well. So Utter Chaos was quite the thing. Mostly they did jazz styles, as I said, but they even had 2 theremin instruments. And if you've never seen those things, you play it literally just by waving your hands in the air around it. If you get a chance, look them up. But they had 2 of them there, and they did a fantastic rendition of The Day the Earth Stood Still. Now, by that point, though, just to give you how busy I was, up until that point, I had just done just shy of 10,000 steps. In less than 3 hours. 3-4 hours. And at that point, I decided to hit the dealer's den, which is again their merch area. Now, I got lucky. I got one of their little tickets to get in there for 4 o'clock. And by that point, there were still people lining up to get those little tickets to get in. That place was packed. That Thursday, Friday nights, absolutely busy and packed to the brim with people. You couldn't really move. I don't want to say shoulder to shoulder, but it was pretty close to it. But you name it, it was there. If it was furry related, it was there. You could have gotten full-on fursuits. But that would have been not just expensive, but holy shnikey. I saw one, and that was discounted. Bear that in mind. Discounted at $2,800. Now, by that point, I'll settle for my wolf tail, which I also did end up picking up a wolf tail. It squeaks. I love it. Let me grab it, because it squeaks. And every time I feel bad, I squeak it. Who doesn't love that? It's a really well-made tail, too. But that's kind of beyond the point. There was vendor... Now, I also didn't take too many pictures from this. And there's a reason for that. Now, as someone who's done a lot of creative stuff in the past, I didn't want to take a picture and accidentally, show... I don't want to say show off, but I didn't want to take pictures and get somebody accidentally doxxed. Or take pictures, realize there's something that's kind of implied in the background, and I didn't want to spend time editing that out. There was stuff like that available. There was an entire section dedicated just to that, in which you needed an ID to go in. And, oh boy. To get into that area, you needed your picture. You needed a photo ID of you. I went in because I've never done anything like that before. And by the time I came out of that area, I could feel myself blushing. I had Sun Crush when I was a little kid all over again. It wasn't blushing out of, quote unquote, embarrassment. It was blushing because I go both ways. And let me tell you, if I had several $1,000s, I would have probably bought that entire place up. Now, that's not exactly an admission of some things, but it's not exactly an argument against it either. But even there too, some of the vendors and people who actually did work as artists who work, specialized for that sort of thing, we'll say, even their work was absolutely fantastic. I found myself marveling, not at the fact of, hey, NSW work, but really, really well done NSW work. very detailed. Like, at that point, it's less of, hey, things are exposed, of, like, oh, hey, that's a really cute detail there on the arm, sort of thing. But when I came out of there, I know I was blushing like hell. But it's a good thing though that day I also spent. I put spending limits on myself for every single day I went. It's like I could drop no more than $100 or like 50, depending on the day. That wolf tail though, I was able to pick up an LED ID tag, which I'm also going to be using for work. Then it made me really want to, actually start trying to put together a suit. But, money and that being tight. By that point though, by the end of that first night at the dealer's den, I had gone from 10,000 to 14,247 steps, and then being on my feet, moving around with almost no breaks. So, yeah, it was tiring, but a lot of fun. I really didn't do much more, I don't think, on Friday night. There was a lot of stuff that I wanted to do, but it was kind of one of those things where there was one event, I think it was called Iron Hand, I think it was called Iron Claws, which was a tabletop thing. But when it started, it would have went on to 10 o'clock at night, followed by, I could probably just get an Uber ride home, but I really didn't want to be paying for that sort of thing. But there was some other things I really wanted to go to, but kind of put more caution into not doing stupid things. But otherwise, Friday night was fantastic. If I was smart, I would have done some uploading on Friday, but I didn't. Saturday morning came around and I arrived about 9 a.m. ish, around there. And the first thing I did is I went to a panel called Cartoons Made Me a Furry. And it started with the history of how kind of furry cartoons started. So, for example, let's see. It started with when the host explained why animators would use animals compared to humans to help stop the same face syndrome that often takes hold in a lot of the games. Hang on a sec, folks. Nope, never mind. When you look at the cartoons from the earliest cartoons, a lot of the same characters have the same faces across each genre. So they're all kind of blended together. But what the animators would do is they would select a animal, animate that, and that would help you stick out and become far less forgettable. Now, I didn't realize this, and also didn't know this, but the first cartoon aired on TV in 1950, and that was Crusader Rabbit. Now, Huckleberry Hound won an Emmy in 1958. That was, it was a very interesting experience just to be there and just to be talking about this sort of thing. The host, he said he ended up watching so many bad cartoons, and I believe him. I genuinely do. It was to the point where I asked him, hey, well, what about the old Marvel cartoons? And he looked at me, and he looked at us all daddy eyes and said, I refuse to acknowledge those as cartoons. He's not wrong, but he's also not right. They were really, really bad. You could make a drinking game out of them. Bad. But by that point, it was, I think, around 11:30, 12 o'clock-ish. I found myself making my way towards the dealer's den, and this time with more of what I actually wanted in mind. Now that I kind of roamed around the first time, I got a lot of patches, a lot of badges. I picked up a lot of business cards, And I do have a plan for those, I promise you. I want to eventually do a YouTube video where I show off artists and their work, but not through exposure. I plan on buying their work. I plan on commissioning artwork. So they get money. I get the file. Then they get shown off on YouTube. Because paying with the exposure only helps when you're first starting out. I then again wanted to hit up an arcade, their arcade again, just because I wanted to try a few different games. Last time I tried was Middle Slug. I think it was either number 3 or number 4. Could have been 2. Either way. Wanted to spend a little bit of time down there and just kind of mess around. I was planning on doing in an escape room, but it was all booked up. So I was like, you couldn't get into one until either real late into Saturday evening or possibly sometime during Sunday. The escape room was called the Furry Logic, and there was just no way I was able to get into one of them. But from there, I ended up going to a panel called "So You Like Looking at Birds, Don't You?" which was a surprising amount of people there. Even before I got there, it was already beginning to pack up. And after they closed the door, more or less, there were still people standing outside in the hallway looking in. It was mostly about bird watching and then participating in, we'll say, conservation efforts, from describing on how they age and determine the gender of a bird to even properly identifying, putting bands on the legs, that sort of thing. Quite interesting. But by that point, though, lunch had kind of taken over, and I went out. I found out. I didn't realize this right away, but they also had food trucks stop by, and so you'll see that in You'll see that in the picture. But I think it was Sabian's or Serena's gyros, and then a hot dog thing. Yeah, well, they were very good. It was a bit expensive for a food truck to me, but then again, I saw how fast those people were moving. I saw how quick they were moving. At that point, whatever extra charge, I'm fine with. Always reward people's hard work. That's what I tell you. But, man, they were moving fast. Now, I took my time eating, gyros, fries, and then engaged in people watching for until about 5 o'clock, where I went to a guest performance called Songs from a Puppy, Skyla. Now, by this point, I also discovered my tail can make for great lumbar support because of how some of the chairs were. But Skyla played the piano really well. One of the songs they played was World of Imagination, and then the next one was from 21 Pilots. I don't know the name of the song, but either way, it was done really well. I would have taken videos, but again, with YouTube not liking music, or when people post music, even if it's from the actual artist, I decided against it. I might have a couple photos or maybe one or two that I'll throw in right about now. But the next song was by Jacob Kohler and his Little Blue, followed by an excellent rendition of Moon River. Unfortunately, though, it turns out Skyla's performance was going to be the last thing I did for the night. There was a bunch of stuff I really wanted to do, but at that point, I hit that metaphorical wall where you just can't do anymore. You just physically do not feel up for it. Yeah. That's essentially what happened. Even if I would have sat down, I would have fallen asleep there. Now, I'm pretty sure I could have fallen asleep at that furry convention at some random chair, and nobody would have bothered me. Or hell, I might have been even kept safe. There was no fear of someone robbing me, or there was no fear of someone with bad intent doing anything to me. Like, everyone was so friendly. Everybody was so happy. I could have fallen asleep with my back against the wall, and I would have been perfectly fine. I was safe there. Genuinely, I felt safe. However, though, waking up in the morning, or waking up early, realizing, hey, everybody's already pretty well gone, and then now I need to go home sore and stiff because I didn't sleep in my own bed, wasn't really worth it. But, and the other nice thing is, though, that kept me away from the dealer's den. Kept me from going back to buy even more stuff, which would have been fine, in all honesty. Sunday arrived. Now, Sunday, I slept in until about 9 o'clock-ish. No, sorry, till about 8 o'clock-ish.
Hello, editing puppy here, and I do apologize about the audio. Sudden change in audio quality. By this point, I forgot to take pictures, so you're gonna be filled in with just some stuff I kind of took while still around the convention. Now, I was unfortunately pretty engrossed in everything that was going on, so I completely forgot. Enjoy.
And I got there around 10 a.m. Now, unfortunately, though, it was also the last one of the day. I was probably going to end up heading home around 6 o'clock-ish. But I wanted to catch a few more panels, and I wanted to kind of, go over a couple more things one last time. But unfortunately, panels and events kept overlapping with each other, so I had to be really choosy. So I didn't get to do all the stuff I wanted to. But I think that was just kind of, hey, there's only one of me, and there's 3 other things I want to go do, and they're all at the same time. So, it's really pick and choose. I ended up at the dealer's den, which I bought some more stuff, but that's in a video. Then at noon, the panel I got there, the main panel I wanted to see was not humans with fur. What makes a story furry? And I was kind of hoping that could bring me into, that would help me bring the channel's mascot fully to life. I don't have a name for them. I don't even have a backstory for them. Just a loose idea of them. And it talks about, they talked about, when you write for this sort of furry thing, making sure you incorporate, believable things. Like, for example, if you're using a coyote for a main character, bringing that to life. Bringing up that little details of, hey, theirs is not a human in a fursuit. They are a coyote person. So, how, describing their fur. Is it coarse? Is it soft? It's coyote fur, so it's probably a bit coarse. The need to yip. Coyotes do a lot of yipping, but they also travel in packs. So you're probably not going to just find one. You're going to probably find about 12 nearby. That sort of thing. So I'm hoping, as things go by, I can kind of do a little bit more story-wise with the channel itself. How does my wolf pup up there really work? And then the other really nice thing is, because this was in the same room, I didn't have to get up to leave. And I was quite comfortable where I was at. But the one I attended was called Transformations, which handled how to write transformations and how to do it more or less effectively. Now, it wasn't really structured per se. It was more along the lines of you ask questions, the panel answers, and they covered everything from, we'll say, forced transformation, like someone going into a werewolf state, to, hey, how are they dealing with the after effects? Like, yeah, sure, the transformation solved a lot of your problems, but now you have new problems. Like, for example, again, we can go back to the werewolf, and it's like, yeah, you mentioned to the person that you're a werewolf, and then they kind of figure out why you were in prison for 5 years. How do you navigate that? To one example that was brought up was having someone who was used to having flight, or having someone who was basically a bird, suddenly be grounded, and realizing they can't just fly over things anymore. They have to walk around them, and that's maybe not as fun. That lasted for a little while, and then I know I keep saying "and then" quite a lot, so I do apologize, but it's quite late for me right now. The next panel was science fiction / fantasy, which I really wanted to attend because I feel for writing audio role plays that could really help me out with what's the actual difference between fantasy and science fiction, or blending them together, which was a couple of different questions there. I don't really want to elaborate that on too much because I don't have notes. I was so engrossed that I forgot to take notes. Do I really have any? There was it. Yeah. Okay. The next panel was called "What It Means to Be a Voice Actor," and as much as I like doing audio role plays, and as much as I would like to do voice actor or voice acting, I can understand how much now, and this gave me a lot of information to work with. Finding someone or finding a company that can actually help me with doing voice acting, because voice acting isn't just voice acting, it's also acting. The difference is you may not be in front of a screen, or you may not be in front of a bunch of people recording you. You are in a booth and you are working hard, you are trying to deliver the sense of passion you have. And I got some really good advice for that. And unfortunately, that was the last panel before the closing ceremony, which was also my last event for the evening. Because again, unfortunately, after the closing ceremony, it was more stuff that, as much as I would like to attend, it would have been dragged me. I would not be getting home until 3 a.m. So that was not something I didn't really want to do. But the closing ceremony, again, even though it was the last event, it was it did bring some tears to my eyes, and I'm going to tell you why. First and foremost, that line got so long for that one, it wasn't even funny. We literally crossed the entire hotel and then circling back around to get into I wasn't even in the middle of the line at that point. I was near the end of the line at first, and then the line started growing back behind me. We literally looped around, down one hallway, down a lobby, around some elevators, through a door, through some, conference centers, looped around a door, looped around back through the conference centers, back out into the lobby area, and back out around that's when I lost sight of the end of the line. It was still growing from there. But that was, again, so many people. But I was able to snag a seat right away, and I don't remember if I took any pictures from that or not. But they did an ending skit. Well, that was really cute. Essentially, it reveals who the raccoons managed to steal the idol, and you would think that they're giving it back, but they're actually giving it to the board of directors president who paid the raccoons to steal it in the first place. Then they got it, quote unquote, appraised. That will come into a little bit later. And even after it got appraised, there was kind of, left alone a little bit. But at that point, though, I was about 30 minutes in, I was handed a napkin for some reason, and then told to pass it down. To give you some interesting numbers that they told us, it took over 500 people volunteering and working over 700 hours to keep that fest, to keep the Midwest Furfest running as smooth as it did. And they were moving smoothly. Like, you know, you had to wait for certain things. It wasn't like you're waiting too long. At least it didn't feel like that. Now, going to the amount of money they raised, they did, I think, a grand total the first time around. Hold your horses here. Their first time around was like 34,000, and that came from a charity auctions for artwork to different vendors chipping in money, people chipping in money, like what I did. They handed them cash, and this is all for the Street Dog Coalition. Bear that in mind. There was at one point the Bimbos and Himbos We Slay. They raised like $400 and just apparently kept handing them over in wads of cash, just wads upon wads of cash to the guy who was handling the money for street dogs there. It was really, it's like when they did that number, a guy came out on stage. I don't remember his actual name. I wish I did, but I don't. He called for one last donation, and so many people got up. Like, I'm actually kind of choking up a little bit right about now thinking about it. But so many people came up, gave them even more money. And eventually it got rounded off from 34,000 something to 36,000 even. From that one last part. Now, a little bit of a skit happened where they revealed how much that, quote unquote, statue was appraised for. And then the board of directors handed over a check of $100,000 to these people, to the Street Dog Coalition. Man, I'm tearing up a little bit just talking about that. But holy crap. It was a lot of money. And you could hear some people were actually crying a little bit. And when the camera went on to one of the Street Dog Coalition team members, she was genuinely crying. So that was a bit of a cherry on top, so to speak. And then we also found out one of the major board members, it was his last year. He was going to retire after this convention, which was sad enough. Now, I didn't really know the guy, and this was my first time ever attending it, but it's like, you can kind of feel people were genuinely sad. That they didn't really want him to go. But he was there for like 25 years since the beginning, and then some. And he felt it was his time, so he ended up finishing his tenure and then retiring from it, I guess. But by that point, then they introduced a new person. I don't remember her name. And through her, they announced the next year's theme, which is Villainous Vacation. So I'm looking forward to this, and I'm actually thinking of making my own fursuit just so when I attend. I'm having an idea of a protogen. Do I know anything about this? No. But do I want to go back next year? Definitely. And with some of the tags I got, some of the people I've met, I want to go back. I genuinely do. And if I get the chance, I'll attend another furry convention, providing I have the days off. So, alrighty. Well, holy crap, I yapped on too long. So, this is Happy Puppy, signing out, signing off. Like, subscribe, share, you know the drill. Bye bye, woof woof, bark bark.